Hello, and welcome back to another episode of English Slow and Simple. I am your host.
And I am joining you today as co-host. Hello, everyone. It is wonderful to be here with you. How are you doing today?
I am doing very well, thank you. I am excited about our topic today. We are going to talk about business, shopping, and how the world is changing. Specifically, we are looking at a concept called consumer preferences.
That sounds like a sophisticated topic. Before we go deeper, maybe we should help our listeners with the vocabulary. What exactly does consumer preference mean?
That is a great idea. Let's break it down. A consumer is simply a person who buys things. You are a consumer. I am a consumer. Everyone listening to this podcast is a consumer because we all buy food, clothes, and services.
Correct. And the word preference comes from the verb to prefer. To prefer means to like one thing more than another thing. For example, I prefer coffee, but I think you prefer tea.
That is true. I definitely prefer tea. So when we put it together, consumer preferences are the things that shoppers want the most right now. It answers the question, why do people buy this product and not that one?
Exactly. And the way people shop is changing. It's not the same as it was 10 or 20 years ago. We are seeing a noticeable shift across several sectors.
I agree. Can you explain the word sector for our listeners?
Of course, a sector is an area of the economy. For example, the technology sector, the fashion sector, or the food sector. This change in shopping habits is happening in all of these places.
So let's look at the first big change. What seems to be driving this shift? Why are people changing how they shop?
Well, the first and perhaps the most important factor is sustainability.
Sustainability. That is a long and difficult word. Can you say it slowly?
Sustainability. Sustainability. Basically, it means acting in a way that does not harm the environment. It means protecting our planet for the future.
I see. So customers today want to buy products that are green or eco-friendly.
Yes, that's a huge part of it. In the past, people mostly cared about the price. They asked, is this cheap or is this expensive? That was the only thing that mattered.
And now, what are they asking now?
Now they ask different questions. They ask, how was this made? They asked, is this package made of plastic that will hurt the ocean? Or they might ask, did the company treat their workers fairly?
That is a big difference. This is often called ethical consumerism, right?
Correct. The word ethical means relating to moral principles, doing what is right. Let me give you an example. I recently needed to buy a new pair of running shoes.
Okay, did you buy the cheapest pair you could find?
No, I did not. 10 years ago, I would have bought the cheapest ones, but this time I did some research. I bought a pair made from recycled ocean plastic. They were a little bit more expensive, but I felt better about buying them.
That is a perfect example of a change in preference. You preferred the sustainable option, even if it cost a little more money. Do you think this is just a trend? Will it go away next year?
I don't think so. I think it's permanent. Young people specifically care very deeply about climate change. As they get older and have their own money, they will continue to demand sustainable products. Companies that ignore this will lose customers.
That is very interesting. So if you are a business owner listening to this, you need to think about the environment.
Absolutely. Now, sustainability is not the only factor. There is another big driver of change.
Yes, we also need to talk about personalization.
Personalization. This is a very popular word in business today. It's the opposite of the old phrase, one size fits all.
One size fits all. That's a good idiom. Can you explain it?
Sure, one size fits all refers to a product that is supposed to be good for everyone. Imagine a hat that is stretchy so it fits a small head and a big head.
Okay, I understand. But people don't want that anymore.
Not really. In the past, everyone watched the same TV channels. Everyone bought the same soap. But today, we want experiences that are tailored to us.
Tailored, like a suit.
Yes, just like a tailor measures your body to make a suit fit perfectly, companies now use data to make services fit your life perfectly.
Can you give us an example of this in real life, something we use every day?
Think about streaming services for movies or music. When you open your account, does it look the same as mine?
It certainly does not. My account suggests romantic comedies, cooking shows, and nature documentaries.
And mine suggests action movies, science fiction, and history documentaries. That's personalization. The service changes based on what you like. It learns from you.
And this is happening in shopping too, right? Not just on TV.
Yes, absolutely. If you look at the beauty and health industry, it's huge. Some companies now let you create your own vitamins or your own shampoo. You go to their website, take a quiz about your health or your hair, and they mix a special bottle just for you.
Wow. So consumers demand to feel special. They want to feel unique.
Precisely. They do not want to be just another number. They want a connection with the brand that feels personal. They want the brand to say, "We know you and we know what you like."
It's amazing how much technology allows this to happen, which actually brings us to our third point.
Yes, we've talked about sustainability and we've talked about personalization, but we cannot forget convenience.
Convenience, that's a noun. It means how easy and comfortable it is to do something.
Correct. We live in a digital world. People are very impatient. We want things instantly.
I'm definitely guilty of this. If a website takes 5 seconds to load on my phone, I get annoyed and I close it.
You are not alone. Consumer patience is very low. This shift is driven by technology. We have smartphones in our pockets. We can buy anything from anywhere at any time.
So if a company makes it difficult to buy their product, people will leave.
Yes, in business, this difficulty is called friction. Imagine rubbing your hands together. That resistance is friction. In shopping, you want to remove friction. You want the payment to be fast. You want the delivery to be fast.
Like next day delivery?
Exactly, or even same-day delivery. 10 years ago, waiting 1 week for a package was normal. Now, if it takes more than 2 days, people complain.
It seems like a difficult balance for companies. Think about it. They have to be sustainable, which takes time and care. They have to be personalized, which takes effort, but they also have to be fast and convenient.
It's a very difficult challenge. It's hard to be fast, cheap, good, and green all at the same time. But the companies that can do these things are the ones winning today.
It is a fascinating time to watch the economy. Before we finish today, I think it would be helpful to review the key vocabulary we used. Repetition helps our listeners learn.
That's a great idea. Let's look at the 4 or 5 main words from this episode.
The first word was consumer.
A consumer is a person who buys goods or services for their own use.
The next big word was sustainability.
Sustainability is the practice of using resources in a way that does not deplete them or harm the environment. It's about being green.
Then we discussed personalization.
Personalization is the process of designing or producing something to meet someone's individual requirements, making it unique for one person.
And finally, convenience.
Convenience means being able to proceed with something with little effort or difficulty. It means something is useful, easy, and fast.
Thank you. That was a great summary.
You're welcome. I hope our listeners have a better understanding of how shopping is changing.
I am sure they do. To our listeners, what is your preference? Do you look for sustainable products or do you just want convenience?
Try to answer that question in English to practice your speaking. You can record yourself on your phone.
Great tip! Next week, we'll be discussing remote work and how working from home is changing our cities.
That is another very hot topic. I look forward to it.
Thank you for listening to English Slow and Simple.
See you next time.
Goodbye. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of English Slow and Simple. I am your host.
And I am joining you today as co-host. Hello, everyone. It is great to be back.
Today, we are tackling the most popular question in the world of language learning. It is the question every student asks me.
I think I know what you were going to say. Is it how can I speak English fluently and fast?
That is exactly it. Everyone wants to know the secret. They want a magic pill. They want to go to sleep and wake up speaking perfect English.
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there is no magic pill. However, there are specific methods that can speed up the process.
Speed up. That is a good phrasal verb. It means to make something go faster. So today we will share the best tips to speed up your fluency. But first, let's define fluency.
That is a very important place to start. Many students think fluency means perfection. They think they must know every word in the dictionary.
But that is not true, is it?
No, it is not. Fluency comes from the word flow, like water. To be fluent means you can speak smoothly without stopping too often to think. You can communicate your ideas easily, even if you make small grammar mistakes.
That is a relief. So you can be fluent and still make mistakes?
Absolutely. Even native speakers make mistakes. Fluency is about communication, not perfection. If you wait until you are perfect, you will never speak.
Okay, so now that we know what fluency is, let's talk about speed. How can we get there faster? What is your first tip?
My first tip is something called immersion.
Immersion. That sounds like being underwater.
Exactly. Imagine jumping into a swimming pool. You're completely surrounded by water. Immersion in a language means surrounding yourself with English all day long.
But many of our listeners do not live in an English-speaking country. They live in Brazil or Japan or France. How can they immerse themselves?
You do not need to live in the United States or England. You can create an English bubble in your own home.
An English bubble. I like that image. How do we build this bubble?
Start with your phone. Change the language settings on your phone to English. It's a small change, but you look at your phone 50 times a day. That's 50 small English lessons.
That is a great practical tip. What else?
Listen to English constantly. When you wash the dishes, listen to a podcast. When you drive to work, listen to the radio in English. When you watch Netflix, turn off the subtitles in your native language.
Turning off subtitles is scary for many people. They are afraid they will not understand.
It is scary, yes, but if you rely on subtitles, your brain does not work hard. You are reading, not listening. If you want to speak fast, you need to train your ears to hear fast English.
So, tip number 1 is immersion. Surround yourself with the language. What is tip number 2?
Tip number 2 is a technique called shadowing.
Shadowing. Like a shadow on the ground?
Yes, a shadow follows you everywhere you go. In this technique, you follow a speaker. You listen to a sentence and then you repeat it immediately, trying to copy their speed and emotion.
So, it's like mimicking.
Exactly. It's not just reading out loud, it's acting. If the speaker sounds happy, you sound happy. If the speaker talks fast, you talk fast. This trains your mouth muscles to move in new ways.
That is an important point. Speaking is a physical activity. Your tongue and lips need exercise, just like your legs need exercise to run.
Correct. Many students read and write for years, but they never open their mouths. Then, when they try to speak, their muscles feel awkward. Shadowing solves this.
I recommend our listeners try this with our podcast. Pause the audio and try to say the sentence exactly how we said it.
That is excellent advice. Now, moving on to tip number 3. This one is psychological. You must lose the fear of making mistakes.
Ah, the fear of mistakes. This is the biggest wall for most students. They are so afraid of looking foolish.
Yes, but let me ask you, how does a baby learn to walk?
Well, they stand up, they take a step, and they fall down. Then they get up and do it again.
Exactly. They fall down hundreds of times. They don't feel embarrassed, they just keep trying. Language learning is the same. You must be willing to fall down in conversation.
But it's hard for adults. We want to look intelligent. We don't want to sound like a child.
I understand that, but fear acts like a brake on a car. If you are afraid, you are stepping on the brake. You cannot drive fast with the brake on. To speak fluent English fast, you must take your foot
off the brake.
So make mistakes, be messy, just keep talking.
Yes, speed comes from confidence. If you stop to check your grammar in your head before every sentence, you will always be slow.
That makes sense. Okay, do you have a fourth tip?
I do. My fourth tip is to learn chunks, not just single words.
Chunks. Can you explain that?
A chunk is a group of words that always go together. For example, think of the phrase, how are you? You don't think about the word how, then are, then you. You learn it as one block of sound. How are you?
That's true. I don't think of the grammar when I say that.
Exactly. Native speakers speak in chunks. If you try to build sentences word by word, like building a wall one brick at a time, it's too slow.
Can you give us another example of a common chunk?
Sure. I look forward to. That's a chunk. Or at the end of the day. If you memorize these phrases as single units, your brain can retrieve them much faster during a conversation.
It sounds like this helps your brain work less.
Yes, it reduces the cognitive load. Your brain can relax because it has these ready-made sentences waiting to be used.
So, to recap, we have 4 main tips. Let's review them for our listeners.
First, immersion. Create an English bubble. Change your phone language and listen constantly.
Second, shadowing. Mimic native speakers to train your mouth muscles.
Third, no fear. Accept that you will make mistakes and keep moving. Take your foot off the brake.
And 4, learn chunks. Memorize phrases, not just individual words.
If you do these 4 things consistently, you will see a massive improvement in 3 to 6 months.
Consistently. That's the key word, isn't it?
It is the most important word. You cannot do this for one day and then stop for a week. It's better to practice for 15 minutes every day than for 5 hours once a week.
It's like going to the gym. You don't get strong by lifting weights once a month.
Exactly. Consistency beats intensity. Small steps taken every day lead to big results.
Before we finish, let's quickly review some of the vocabulary we used today.
Good idea. We used the word fluency.
Fluency is the ability to speak or write a language easily, well, and quickly. It comes from the idea of flowing.
We also talked about immersion.
Immersion involves involving yourself deeply in a particular activity or interest, being surrounded by it.
Then we mentioned shadowing.
Shadowing is a practice technique where you repeat speech immediately after hearing it.
And finally, chunks.
Chunks are lumps or blocks of something. In language, they are groups of words that are usually found together.
Perfect. I hope our listeners feel motivated to start their immersion today.
I hope so too. Change your phone language right now.
Yes, do it now. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, everyone. See you in the next episode.
Goodbye.